Okay, I'm going to try to make this video the best I can. You'll hear weird noises. My dogs are in the background. My husband and sons are outside. My table's a mess, but who cares? And now my phone's ringing. Anyway, I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl. I'm making biscuits. I'm going to be adding different ingredients. I'm going to pause the video and show you each ingredient that I add. Man, get it right, woman. Can't even talk. Right now, there's 4 cups of all-purpose flour in this bowl. So, there we go. Okay, to my all-purpose flour, I'm adding not even a teaspoon of baking powder. That's what, maybe an 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm not a measuring type of person. Anyway, baking soda. Sorry, not baking powder, baking soda. About an 1/8 of a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Then, to that, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of baking powder. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Roughly. Some of them were heaping, some of them were not. Alright. And then from there, we want to add about a tablespoon worth of sugar. Okay? I'm going to mix all this together and then come back and do more video. Okay, I'm back. So normally, I went ahead and did some stuff, but I'll fill you in. Normally when making biscuits, you use butter or lard. But I'm out of butter and I'm out of lard. So, of course, and everybody's going to have a temper tantrum that I'm using vegetable oil. Oh, well, get over it. We're poor. Anyway, I did 8 tablespoons of vegetable oil into my flour and baking powder, baking soda mixture. And I didn't use a measuring spoon. I just used the lid. It's roughly a tablespoon. If that is too much oil, I will just add more flour. Again, this is, it's not a to the T recipe. It is, I've been making these biscuits forever. I'm just showing you the steps and you take it from there. Okay, so let me pause this and I'll be back after I get this mixed in. It's going to get messy. Okay, so yes, I told you it was going to get messy. I've got the oil mixed in with the flour, so it's kind of doing this kinetic sand kind of way. It sticks to itself. And that is what you want. You want it to be doughy. Not super sticky doughy, but almost like I said, like kinetic sand or like oobleck, whatever that stuff is called. Alright, so I'm going to go wash my hand. No, actually I'm not, because, I'm going to be using my hand to mix the whole thing, so I'm not going to go wash my hand. I did wash my hands before this, so don't get your panties in a bunch thinking that I didn't wash my hands. Anywho, this is all mixed in together. I'm going to go ahead and add some other ingredients. One thing I'm going to add, this is going to be used, so because I didn't have butter, I'm going to go ahead and add what's left of the sour cream in there, because I think that would make a good flavor, and it will make it creamy. And then the only other thing I'm going to add is our liquid, which will be milk. I don't have buttermilk, unfortunately, but hey, you do what you got to do, right? This is one of those we're going to cook however we have to survive kind of videos. All right, so let me pause this. I'm going to get the sour cream and the milk mixed in here and get this turned into a dough, and we'll go from there, okay? I want to record a little bit to show you what mixing dough looks like when you're doing it by hand. Again, if you get grossed out easily, maybe making biscuits isn't for you. I don't get grossed out that easily, and I like biscuits. I'm a Southern girl raised by a Southern mama on a low budget. We do what we got to do. Anyhow, I'm going to keep mixing this up, and I will come back when it is a nice smooth dough, not sticking to my hands like glue. Okay, so to this dough, I added what was the equivalent about a 1/2 cup of sour cream, and then a total of about a cup, maybe a cup and a half of milk. Now, the measurements are going to be different. Do you see this dough? Do you see the texture of it? The density of it? That's what you're going for. So if you put milk in, and it's too runny, add a little more flour. If you put the milk in and it's still too dry, add a little more milk. It's a play as you go thing. There's no exact measurements to this. If you want exact measurements, go to Google and Google a biscuit recipe. But if you want to just throw something together, then do what I'm doing. It's really simple. Once you've done it about, and that spaghetti stained bowl, look at that. Once you've done it a few times, you get the hang of it. I used to roll the dough out flat. And use my cookie cutter to make perfectly round biscuits. Then you've got all that dough left over, and you got to roll it out again and roll it out again. I don't have time for that. So I have a way of shaping the biscuits. I just take about, a handful of dough, and using both hands. I can't do that because I'm holding the phone with one hand. If I can get somebody to hold the phone for me, aiming it at my hands, then that'd be great. But flattening like this, and I use my other hand to kind of roll it around this way, and I make a flat biscuit. And then I put it in a cast iron skillet. This is the best way to make biscuits. Biscuits taste so much better when they're cooked in a very seasoned cast iron skillet. Oh my gosh. You can add butter to the bottom of this. I'm out of butter, but I'll probably add oil. You can add butter, lard, or oil to the bottom of this, and then put your biscuits in there. Bake them in the oven. Do not do 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Don't do that. You want your biscuits to cook fast, so the outside cooks fast and the inside cooks, but it stays soft. So I set my oven to 425, and I leave my biscuits in there I start at 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and I go and look. If they have risen and they are looking a little golden on top, I turn the oven off and I walk away, and I come back 10-ish minutes later, 5-10 minutes later, and then I pull them out of the oven. They will continue cooking in the heat of the oven, and that gives your skillet time to cool down. Because, speaking from experience, y'all, if you touch this while it's still hot, even for less than a second, you're going to have a blister. I have a horseshoe-shaped scar on my arm from my arm touching just that for a millisecond. I'm talking a millisecond. And that scar is never going to go away. Anywho, let me get these rolled out into my pan, and then I will show a shot of that. Then we will get them in the oven, and I will show you the completed biscuits when that happens, okay? So I'm going to not end it. I'm going to pause for a minute, and when you see something again, it'll be my biscuits in the skillet. Hold up. Okay, so my son's holding the camera. I'm going to show you. Roughly about, I don't know, a little more than a golf ball size. And do you see how I'm doing this? I'm just making a circle and flattening it out. Biscuit. And it's going to go in the pan, and I'll make more, and they'll be ready. All right. All right. All right, there they are. So 10 is the max number of biscuits, really, that I can fit in there. And there's 5 people here at the house, so we'll get 2 biscuits each. I do have about a handful or more of dough left. I'm going to add some more flour, baking powder, and other ingredients to this. And I have like a quarter of a container of cherry pie filling that I might just go ahead and make a little pastry. Maybe we can have that for breakfast tomorrow. But anyway, I'll record some of that too. Be a completely separate video, but it is what it is. But these are about to go in the oven at 425 degrees for roughly 15 minutes. And then I'll turn it off, and they'll finish cooking in the heat of the oven for another 10-15 minutes. Again, time varies depending on your oven. Time varies depending on how thick your biscuits are. Really, just like any recipe or anything you cook, it's eyeballing it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this. And when I start the video back up again, these will be golden, fluffy, delicious biscuits. All right. All right, there they are, y'all. That is the biscuit recipe. They're still very hot. I just pulled them out of the oven, but they're going to taste good with some gravy. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you for listening to me go on and on about cooking biscuits. Again, stay tuned for more recipes from, well, a mom on a low budget. I want to show you that it's okay to not have a lot of money and still feed your family. Just get past the picky eating and the idea of, I don't know how to cook, and actually try something, and you'll be surprised. You'll be so surprised at what you can come up with. Anyway, look, God bless you, love you. Take it easy, y'all. Bye.